How's it going, guys? It's me, Yanas, coming back at you once again with my nonsensical tunes. And this is a companion video of sorts to the one about where I talked about why I took a break from anime. I would like to tackle another one of my favorite hobbies that I took a break from, ye old faithful video games. Disclaimer, once again, it doesn't mean that I hate gaming by any stretch of the imagination now, but I did get burnt out on it, and I prefer to do other things like pen and paper roleplay games, Dungeons and Dragons, YouTube culture. Similar to my video about anime, I thought it might be an interesting thought exercise to explore some of the more recent developments in video games and gaming that might make a man take a break from the hobby. Probably the number one reason that a young student in South Africa or in any third world country such as I would take a break from video games is the cost. You know, the cost of living is going up, and our currency, the rand, is going down the drain. And thus foreign imports like video games are getting more expensive. And also I've heard that because of what's the political climate in the US, like there's going to be sort of levies and taxes and stuff that are going to go up and then increase the price of video games even more, even though like our currency is starting to get a bit stronger, but we'll see what happens. It's also quite difficult for me to like wrap my head around why day one digital sales are about the same price as physical copies. I mean, I've paid my PS Plus subscription all the way to 2018, so I'm pretty sure at least my server costs are covered. And you know, it's really, I mean, we all know what the issue is here. It's a power play between, you know, physical retailers and stuff. But I mean, I need it to end now. I need my digital prices to come down. And I think like now that the infrastructure in South Africa is starting to go up, even though I believe like in 2017 it should already be pretty good, but I mean we're still working on it. Yeah, fiber's taking a long while to be doled out. I'm pretty sure we'll have like internet beamed in from like the moon by the time I get fiber in my house, but we'll see. It's a race between like 4G wireless internet and fiber. And we'll see where that goes, but I mean that's another topic I'll discuss in another video. So in terms of South African currency, games cost about, I would say, like more than twice what they did when I first started gaming in 2011, and I'm sort of being relegated to waiting to bargain bin prices, and you know, unless somebody is paying attention to that, you know, some titles can slip away, and especially if you're busy with other things. And on the cost note, it's probably pertinent to say that microtransactions are a macro annoyance, and I don't like them in my single player experiences. Understood, Ubisoft, bad Ubisoft. The second point I would like to make concerns a thing some people refer to as open world fatigue. A lot of games nowadays like sell you on the point that they are open world and there's a lot of stuff that you can do in it. But what I've come to notice is that, you know, these publishers sell you on the idea that the world map is big, but it's not necessarily populated, and it's not necessarily taking you down a narrative that's interesting or well polished or anything. It's all about having more stuff, not necessarily interesting stuff. And like, of course, there's exceptions to the rule. Like The Witcher 3 was like dense with stuff to do, and I believe Horizon is probably similar in that vein. Although I didn't get around to playing Horizon yet. But games like Metal Gear Solid were definitely like not finished. A lot of the recent Ubisoft games definitely, you know, missing stuff or broken on release, and it kind of demotivates you. It kind of demotivates you from buying games new, and then you just forget about them after a time, because I mean the hype factor is real, and it's actually very few games that garner a lot of attention so long after their release. In recent memory, like what can you think of that you were playing last year that you still think about this year? It's probably like, well, was The Witcher last year? Things like The Witcher, Rocket League. Those are the type of things that you keep speaking about, but I can't even think of what else came out last year, because they were probably really forgettable titles. And while I enjoyed like the amazing gameplay in games like Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Pain, it's actually extremely difficult for me to get back in those like for more than a few minutes. Like I feel like it's had its time, and the longevity is not quite there. Although I played a shitload of it when it did come out. But yeah, like sometimes I'd just rather go on a wild goose chase, literally in The Witcher Wild Hunt. On that note, the release of broken, unfinished, generic games has started to become a thing, and to those people who are releasing those games, stop it. I mean it. Stop it. Bad developer. Like I said in my video about anime, the social media and the echo chambers around video games, and the kind of nonsense that you have to try and like have to piece together to make a coherent story about whether it's a good idea to buy a video game or not, or a console for that matter. I've come to realize that very few people like have your back as a consumer when it comes to helping you make a decision on whether to actually purchase a game. Like I can probably count on one hand like the people that I feel like have my back as a consumer, like as a person who doesn't have a lot of expendable income, that doesn't have access to gets free games to review, and it's probably people like Jim Sterling, like Angry Joe, your Colin Moriarty's, although in Colin Moriarty's case he has actually left video games media now because of stuff that happened on social media, so that's quite ironic. The media around video games now is dominated by kind of these fanboys who sing the praises of particular games, either trying to justify their purchase or their nostalgias. And then on the other hand, there are those game critics who don't really want to step on the toes of certain groups of people or publishing companies or media networks or whatever, and it's kind of worrying, because reviewing games or talking about games should first and foremost be a consumer thing, I believe. It is, I mean, it's most definitely also pertinent and interesting to actually talk about the art and stuff involved, but I don't feel like, as like not a very rich person, that stuff should come like second. First and foremost, you tell me whether like at the end of the day, is this worth my purchase? Like if I had to buy one game for the next 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, like which ones should they be? And should it be this particular one, or should I give it a skip, or maybe should I wait for a sale? And there are some people who do that, who like they specifically write a review for those reasons. But yeah, I suppose I should just go like on some kind of YouTube search for those people. But I mean, I already have little time already. Like you expect like the big guys to also be doing that, but they kind of don't. Like, and it's a bit weird. But it's just the way that it is now. So it's difficult to weed out what is relevant to you as a consumer. And sometimes you do end up buying things that weren't necessarily great for you. Things like this might be an unpopular opinion, but like I believe that Fallout 4 was like really overrated. It lacked polish, probably because of its like long development cycle, like when it started. But like in a post-Witcher like generation of video games, like it should have been better. And I kind of felt like empty like when I finished it. Maybe I just didn't play it properly. Maybe like I was supposed to go like off in a random tangent doing random things in this post-apocalyptic world, but that's not how I play video games. I play video games with a story, or even the characters, and like I don't feel like Fallout 4 had a particularly well done story or particularly well thought out and acted characters. There might be some, like there's a lot of them, so, but you know, on the other hand, we have games like Mad Max who completely fell through the cracks because it released alongside the Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, and it was totally like media washed out and drowned by Phantom Pain coverage. But I felt like Mad Max was a very well put together and fun experience. And how did I forget this example of games media mess ups like No Man's Sky? Well, probably also kind of false marketing campaigns are to blame for that. But I mean, games journalists should have been journalizing a word? Researching, investigating, investigative journalism. That's the word I'm looking for. You know, it all comes down to depth. I'm looking for depth, and I've been playing video games for like 20 years now. And I feel like those past couple of years have been largely devoid of that exhilarating feeling that video games used to give me, like back in the day, back in my formative years. Like, maybe I should just boot up one of those games, you know, maybe get back into Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI or Pokemon Red and get those gaming juices flowing again when I have the time. So on a final note, have you ever taken a break from video games, and what were the reasons, and what gets you to come back when you do take a break? So yeah, that's it from me. Do remember to like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel for more videos about the things we love in geek and online culture, and as always, stay tuned and cheers.